Hello, I am Dr. D.D. Sawant from Department of Geography, J.A.T Arts, Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon Dist-Nashik. Today's topic, which I had selected, that is a measures of wildlife management. As several measures have been adopted by the Union and state government for the conservation and preservation of wildlife in the country. These include enactment of laws, protection of endangered species, and establishment of sanctuaries and national parks. So, the application of scientific knowledge and technical skills to protect, conserve, limit, enhance, or create wildlife habitat. Secondly, we will see that it includes the implementation of laws regulating the use, kinds, and amounts of wildlife people can harvest. Third one, which is to be known that wildlife management should focus on all plants and animal species. So, to know that several laws pertaining to the protection and conservation of wildlife have been formulated from time to time. The Wild Birds and Animal Protection Act was passed in the year 1887, but unfortunately it was repeated in 1912. Forest Act passed in the year 1927 aimed at the protection of game animals. The Indian Board of Wildlife was established in 1952 for the purpose of protection of wild animals. In a subsequent year, separate wildlife board were established at state levels. The new Wildlife Act provides more effective measures for wildlife management. Thus, the Wildlife Act has the provision for number one, which is to control and supervision of possessions, trapping, shooting, hunting, chopping of wild animals, whether alive or dead. The transport and export of wild animals and their products by the special forest staff, for example, chief wildlife wardens and other authorized officials. Secondly, which is that is a protection to endangered and threatened animal species. Third, management wildlife, that is a graded protection to other wild animals according to the size of their population, etc. So the establishment of Wildlife Institute at Dehradun, means in the state UP, has been a success in the wildlife management. Efforts to be seen that are being made to protect the following animals which have been enlisted as endangered and threatened species: black buck, which is called as Indian antelope, four-horned antelope, white-eyed buck, sam deer, elephant, Indian gazelle, which is called as a chinkara, musk deer, burrell, snow leopard, great Indian bustard, peafowl, shiro, thar, golden cat, pink-headed duck, monitor lizard, water lizard, marsh crocodile, monal pigeon, cheer pigeon, Oaklas pigeon, horned pigeon, python, lions, tigers, etc. So, as about 200 sanctuaries, national parks, and other miscellaneous natural areas have been established in the country to provide protection to wildlife of different categories. Sanctuaries having natural habitats which provide maximum protection and optimum living conditions to a host of animals including birds. No killing or possession of wild animals is allowed in the sanctuaries except the written permission from the concerned authorities. Hence, to manage national parks as nature reserves aims at the preservation of overall natural character of the habitat and its environment, including flora, fauna, landscape, scenic spots, and objects of historical importance within the limits of a particular national park. Thus, the National Wildlife Action Plan was started in 1983 with the basic purpose of formation and implementation of strategies, programs, and projects for the conservation of wildlife in future and increase in the protected areas from the existing 3% to 4% of the geographical area of the country. The important wildlife sanctuaries and national parks have been, uh, which are national schemes, which are known as Project Tiger Scheme, has been launched to protect the tiger population in the country. So, as the scheme Project Tiger ensures complete protection to tiger species in a few specially selected tiger reserves, it may be pointed out that, in spite of the efforts taken by the central government in collaboration with the state government to protect nature or wild areas and ecological endowment of the country, the conditions of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and reserves, and protected forests are deteriorating day by day due to complex socio-political economic factors. So, as ethics of influencing wildlife, population control, conservation perspectives, its probable effect of human activities regarding the use of environmental resources on natural environment is called environmental impact, and the assessment and evaluation of environmental effects of human activities are collectively called environmental impact assessment. So, the general statement on possible effects of human activities during the exploitation and processing of natural resources on natural environment are called environmental impact statement. Thus, environmental impact assessment and environmental impact statement refers to the studies and statement which firstly attempt to produce estimates of future environmental changes. So, thus environmental impact assessment is a method of evaluating environmental consequences. So, here the conservation perspectives, those are to focus is on population, species, and ecosystems. Second one, that is believes that other aspects have a right to exist. Number third, to recognize dependency of wildlife on their habitats. And number four, that is to recognize that human intervention is sometimes necessary to sustain species of habitats. So, a few alternative methodologies and procedures for formulating environmental impact assessment and statement have been devised by individuals and scientific research organizations such as principles and procedures of environmental impact assessment by ISPO. So, to ethics of influencing wildlife population control, that animals' rights perspective to focus on individual sentient animals. Secondly, the species and ecosystems are not morally considerable but have inherent values. Number third, to believe that wild animals and ecosystems will survive if we simply let them be. Next one, that is animal welfare perspectives. If we'll see that what the welfare perspectives are, number one, which is a focus on individual sentient animals. Secondly, the to aimed at preventing cruelty. Number third, believes pain, suffering, and loss of a life should be minimized. So, as a manipulating of the wildlife populations for managing for the purposes. Number one, which is a legal method, that shooting, poisoning, lethal trapping, reintroduction of natural predators. Secondly, if we'll see that non-lethal methods are live trapping followed by translocation. Next, chemical or surgical sterilization. Nextly, physical barriers. Next, vegetation management. Next, behavioral deterrence. It means there are scare devices of dogs and repellents. All methods have benefits and limitations. So, to protect the animals, conservation is very much useful.